Hi there! Remember me? Today we'll be talking all about memorization. I've had a lot of experience with memorizing pieces because when I was living in Australia, I used to be in a youth concert marching band, which was the best thing I ever did to improve my musicianship, my ensemble skills, and just to meet people who had the same love of music as I do. And so as part of the marching band, we had to memorize a lot of music. So I have a few tips for you if you're preparing for a recital, or you're in a band and you've got a gig coming up, or maybe you're in a marching band too. Then hopefully these tips will help you to improve your memory skills. Okay, so tip number 1 is repetition. Repetition is vital when memorizing music. What I do is I select a few bars at a time or a phrase, and I play them over and over again until I'm starting to feel really confident and can play them from memory. But I don't just play the phrase. I play the phrase plus the start of the next phrase. That's really important because it trains your fingers to know where to go next. And if your fingers know where to go for the next part, then you won't get stuck. Okay, tip number 2 actually turns tip number 1 on its head, and that is to play backwards. No, not like that. It's not exactly what I was thinking. What I mean is, when we practice pieces, usually we practice from the beginning to the end. And when we're memorizing things, usually that means we get really good at the beginning and we start to get worse as we go through. So why not start at the end? Here's what you can do. Take the strategy from tip 1, practicing a phrase each time, but start with the last phrase of the piece. Practice that over and over again until you've memorized it, and then add the phrase before that. Practice that a few times until you've memorized it, and then play both phrases to the end. And then you can keep adding phrases, memorizing them, and then playing through to the end, going backwards through the piece until you reach the beginning. It does take a little bit of time, but I find that it really gives me confidence from the beginning of the piece right through to the end. So I think it's a good way to practice every now and again. My third and final tip for today is listen. Find some really good quality recordings of whatever piece or song you're working on, and listen to it over and over again. Listen to it until you cannot get it out of your head. It really helps your memory if you've got the music in your head to begin with. And apart from listening to ready-made recordings, why not make your own? If you're practicing for a recital with a piano or a band or an orchestra, then record your rehearsal one day and you can play along with it, or you can just listen to it. But if you can hear all of the other parts around you, then that can really help you with your memory. So there are my 3 tips for part 1 of this series: repetition, practicing backwards, and listening. Part 2 is on its way later this month, so be sure to like this video and subscribe for more tips, clarinet covers, and heaps more. Happy practicing! See you next time!